Hi, this is Stephanie Lindloff from Our Natural Wisdom. So glad to be back with you today for my weekly YouTube live, Reclaim Your Peace with Mother Earth. Really glad to be here. The summer is now over in our in our household, maybe in yours too, and so I'm going to be able to go back to my weekly live sessions here with you. I love joining you every week with bits of wisdom that can bring you greater peace and a healthier mindset, all connected with Mother Earth and with your beautiful soul. So today on our live today, I am going to be touching on going a little deeper into something that I talked about in my last episode. Episode 80 was all about easing caregiver stress, caregiver anxiety with Mother Earth and with nature's healing. And of course, you know that I love talking about how many healing qualities there are to connecting more deeply with nature from indoors and outdoors. And today is no different, but I'm going to start with a slightly different perspective, and that is talking about your perspective on your self care and extending yourself grace and compassion. This is so huge, especially for any women who are struggling with anxiety and self doubt and having trouble making decisions, getting clarity, getting the confidence to take the steps that you know that you are being guided to take in order to bring more fulfillment into your life and to just simply enjoy life more. Enjoy life more. We have this beautiful life here in front of us, and mindset and your connection with your soul is central to your ability to truly experience a life that is fulfilled and has more contentment than anything else. So, the thing that came up for me today was that when I talked about the caregiver stress and caregiver anxiety last episode, I heard back from a couple of you that that was really thought provoking and it really spoke to your heart. So thank you for reaching out to me about that. Um, as I said in that episode, and you may know from if you've listened to me in the past, that we experienced a really difficult time when my mom was ill. She has since passed. She's been gone for 13 years now. She developed early onset dementia, Lewy body dementia, in her 50s and early 60s. And it's a progressive disease and really difficult to experience, to witness for with a loved one, right? And I bet a lot of you are experiencing these things as well with your loved ones as they are aging or going through difficult health matters. And one of the things that we noticed while she was going through her journey, and perhaps you have too, either for your loved ones or for yourself, is that as the as the illness progressed, and she was no longer working, no longer capable of working. At first, you know, a lot of her friends, longtime friends, came to visit her. But as her illness, as the dementia progressed, there were fewer and fewer friends that came by. And, you know, I say this with no judgment at all because I can imagine how difficult it is to watch a peer, a friend, somebody that you perhaps grew up with, going through a journey with a health issue, especially something like dementia, where they are, you know, losing their cognitive capacities. And so they're really fundamentally changing as a person, changing as a person that you know, but they are now changing, right? Hi, thank you for joining. And as her illness progressed, that I found that the people that tended to come visit her, whether at our house or eventually in the memory care unit where she was, they tended to be former students of hers. Now, my mom was a middle school art teacher for almost 30 years in a small town. She taught, I don't know, maybe 2,000 or more students over the course of her career, had a significant impact on a lot of people, taught at least two different generations, because she definitely had, in her early years, taught one generation and then taught their children later in her career. So she has, um, oh, people rather remember the great times and rather look the other way when you start to slip away from this life as we know it. That is so true. It's so true. And I think, and so that is exactly what I'm speaking to, because what I came to find out was that while her friends had great difficulty and experienced discomfort in spending time with my mom and visiting her, even just to pop in to say hi, her friends struggled with that, but her students kept coming. Her students were there to honor her, to express their appreciation for her, their love for her, to share with her their memories and their stories of everything that she, all of the meaning that she provided in their life. And it only recently occurred to me that there is a huge difference in these relationships, and that is why it, I think, played out the way that it did in the case of my mom. And I can't believe that we're the only ones that have experienced this. I would love to hear if anybody else has experienced the difference between friends and students, or mentees, people that looked up to your loved one as a teacher or as a mentor. There is a there's an energy difference there, and there's also just a level of honoring and respect and admiration, that and care. Really, it's a different kind of care and compassion that comes through that relationship, the relationship between a student and a mentor versus friends. And what I think that there's wisdom here for all of us, because so many, yeah, the students were little lights of hope and reassurance to all the good she brought into their lives through art. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Absolutely. She loved her students so much, and she was a light and still is for so many of them. Um, and I think that this, there's wisdom here for us in terms of how we treat ourselves when we are struggling, and how we talk to ourselves, the way that we speak to ourselves in our minds and also, verbally, the way that we show up for ourselves when we are struggling. I think a lot of times it's suggested that if we're really struggling, we should try to treat ourselves or speak to ourselves as though we were a friend. And while I think that this is well meaning and in many times can be an excellent perspective to take, I encourage you to consider taking on a fresh, new, and soulful perspective of approaching yourself as though you are your your own mentor, your own guide, because you are. Your soul is your mentor. Your soul is your guide. And the more that we can approach ourselves in this way, and the wisdom, the amazing wisdom that we hold within ourselves at all times, the more we can learn to approach ourselves and see ourselves as our truest mentor and guide through a soulful connection. I think that there is profound healing there for us. And this will, open up so many doors in terms of accessing deeper levels of self compassion, of self understanding, of self-care, and also honoring ourselves. Learning to honor ourselves, because especially so many women who struggle with anxiety and self-doubt, we forget to honor ourselves. We forget to honor how we are being guided, the deep feelings that we are having. We forget to honor what is truly resonating within ourselves. And then as a result, we we dismiss the soul's guidance that we are receiving every single day, the loving thoughts and the wisdom that we can share with our own selves. This can be such, it can represent such a tremendous shift in our mindset and in how we approach helping ourselves when we're struggling with, physical issues, emotional issues, spiritual challenges. The way that we approach ourselves during this time is really at the key of developing a strong, loving, compassionate, and trusting relationship with ourselves. And I'm going to, oh my goodness. Oh, well, thank you so much. I'm seeing some great messages and some that don't belong here, and I don't have time to delete the ones that don't belong here. But oh, I really appreciate this. Wow, your words are what I needed to hear about taking better care of myself by using positive reinforced words. At times I can be my own worst critic. Oh, honey, I know. So thank you for speaking on that issue. You are so welcome. I am so happy that you're here today. And you know what? I believe that I was guided to share this just to reach you. All right, just to reach you today. And that just makes my day hearing that has made such an impact for you. So the question that I have for you is, how can you develop a better perspective and relationship with yourself as your truest mentor, as your amazing guide for yourself? Really consider that. And this all extends to your relationship with nature. As you know, I love talking about our sacred relationship, our partnership with Mother Earth, with nature, because we are nature. It is not separate from us. And nature is a fantastic teacher, guide, and mentor for us. When we allow ourselves to observe what is happening in the natural world all around us and really tap into that, even for a few moments, we are more receptive to the wisdom that we hold within ourselves and the wisdom that we can connect with by observing our thoughts, observing how we are speaking to ourselves. Now, observing nature helps you develop, hone that, and strengthen that ability to be present, to be in the present moment, to watch, to observe, not to analyze or go into deep, questioning or try and categorize or fix or classify all of these things. Our brains get so busy and go in so many different directions when we are observing things. The real key and the thing that I encourage you to practice as often as you can, even for a few moments at a time, is to simply be and to observe. And it's especially powerful to do this outside in nature, to observe the clouds moving, or the wind moving through the trees, or the grasses blowing in the breeze. Anything you can just observe for a few moments and bring yourself into that state of presence, of being in the now. Of course, you will have thoughts come up during this time. That is natural. That happens to everybody. And the thoughts that come up during this time are coming up because they are also meant to be observed. And I think that we tend to believe that when we go into a place of presence, we aren't going to have any thoughts. But that's not true. It's just not how our brains operate, especially if we have not been practicing being in a state of presence and being aware of what is going on around you in a state of loose awareness so that you're not attaching and creating meaning to everything. The value here is to allow yourself to be in the moment, allow your thoughts to come, observe them, and you will be able to begin to identify what thoughts are simply not true, first of all. That is one of the first things. So many of the thoughts that we have are not true. I'm so lazy. I'm so unproductive. I'm so fat. I'm so unhealthy. I'm so, whatever. There's so many things, right? I can't make a decision. I don't know what to do next. I mean, all of these thoughts, we our brain spits out so many thoughts during the course of the day that are not true. They are not true because when we actually look at the circumstances, we can identify that no, we are not lazy. We have just done shitload of things, especially if you're a busy working mom. Holy cow, the opposite of lazy. We are not, unproductive. We are productive all day long. There are so many things that we are doing. There's so many untrue thoughts that we speak to ourselves during the course of a day. And allowing ourselves to once again flex this muscle of observation of nature allows us to see those thoughts for what they are, which often is that they are not true, right? This allows you to identify the thoughts that are time to be released, that are time to shift, that are time to let go, that are time to tweak in a little bit of a way. And if you've listened to my stuff, you know that I talk a lot about thought management. I have a bunch more episodes on that, and I'll, continue to share on that. I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty of the thought management approaches right now, but just so that you know if that is something that is of interest to you, that is a core part of my coaching practice and what I teach. And if you're currently feeling guided to make a change in your life, but you can't get past the anxiety and the self-doubt, I lovingly encourage you to book a free breakthrough session with me. It's a one-on-one private phone call where we talk about where you're at, where you would like to go, and I'll give you some ideas for how you can start moving there. And we can talk about whether I'm the right coach to support you through these changes in your life. It would be such an honor. My website for signing up is ournaturalwisdom.com/breakthrough. I'll also provide the link down below. And so, once again, begin to see yourself as the mentor, as the guide, as the leader, as the teacher, because you are. You have that relationship with yourself down deep. You have a soulful connection. And connecting more with Mother Earth and getting into the present moment so that you can observe your own thinking is key to this. There are so many ways to partner with Mother Earth in healing and in creating greater clarity in your life that will bring so many blessings to your life and to the lives of your loved ones. All right, I'm just going to look through some of these messages. Such a treat to see all of these messages, many of which are relevant. I am going to take off a couple. Yes, I agree with you wholeheartedly about grounding myself with Mother Earth and allowing the vibrations to enter my body as I stand barefooted in the yard every morning. Perfect. That is absolutely perfect. I love that for you. All right. I also have one little announcement. I am going to be doing my weekly YouTube lives. However, next week I have a conflict on Tuesday at 10. So next week's live is going to be on Wednesday, August 28th at 11 a.m. Central Time. I hope to see you there. You can tune in here. If you're interested in hearing more from me and receiving my newsletter, I sure would love to have you sign up. I will provide the link down below. And in return, you will receive a free gift, which is a guide to reclaiming your peace with 4 simple steps to speak with nature. That's right, talking with nature and hearing the beautiful wisdom of your soul. Thank you once again for joining. It was such a pleasure, and I look forward to seeing you again next week on YouTube Live. Take care. Bye bye.